Welcome, mateys, to Captain Scurvy Dog's Bible Hour. Hey, Squib, say hello to the mateys.
Hi, mateys. Is the captain stinking here? Honey, mateys.
Yes, this is the Captain Scurvy Dog's Bible Hour. And, well, there's some strange questions about the Bible I'd like to answer with you. Now, we're told that there's a separation of church and state. But I find it hard to believe that every time that we go to a court, we got to put our hand on the Bible. And when the President of the United States gets to be the President, he has to put his hand on the Bible. So there's something going on here that most of us don't know about. So let's work. It's a powerful book, and it's a dangerous book, especially if you don't know what's inside of it. So let's get our tools together and find out what we can do with this. Now, I'm going to say King James Version, I'll tell you why later, and get the words of this man I call the Naz in red. Good, beautiful red. That's what we want. Now, why is this book so dangerous? Well, one quick reason is right in a thing called Matthew. You've got the four Gospels where you have the ministry of this man that I'll call the Naz, because the church has copyrighted his other name, and that name is, well, conjures up an image. It's hard to lose. Call him the Naz. Now, he was wandering around talking to people, and somebody called him good master. And he said to him, he turned to him, "Why callest me good? There is only one that is good, and that is God." Now, that's in the King James Version. But every other version, that thing in Matthew's been taken out and a new verse been put in. And he says, "Do you ask me about what is good?" They seem like a small thing to you. But here he's saying, there's only one. Don't talk to me as good. There's only one that's good. Now, that's perfectly consistent with this ministry. But that ministry has been completely obfuscated by the organized religion and the authorities. Now, we got a lot of work to do, and let's get some tools together. Well, look at my chest and see what I got here. All right, Davey, I have to move you. Sorry. Okay, get it. Let's see. Good tools. Well, let's see. Good tools. As I said before, a good King James Version of the Bible with the words of Jesus in a beautiful red. Yeah, don't go for the red that you don't enjoy. Get a good red version, because that's the gold of the Bible. Now, what you also got to do, get the Strong's Concordance of the Bible. That's all the words. You can look up all sorts of stuff in this. Got to have that. It's a good tool. Now, there's something pretty cool too. This is a little bit more modern. Get yourself some software. Look up stuff with the software. Finds a lot of amazing things. Okay, we got that all together. Now let's talk about a little bit what's going on in this thing. If you read this stuff, get into it, and I'll give you some clues how to find it, you find out it is not one point of view in here. There are many points of view, and they've basically two great themes. One theme is how kings can oppress everybody and make them follow their rule, and the other theme is how you can break out of centuries of oppression and become a free human being. So obviously the kings, the authorities, wouldn't want you to hear about this other stuff. That's why the ministry, you probably never heard of it. So let's get into what's going on. Now, Solomon, was called the wisest king of the world. Wisest king. And he had a thing called Proverbs. And in Proverbs he says these things. "He who trusteth in his own heart is a fool, If you believe in your own heart, mateys, he says, you're a fool. Oh, what do we do about that? He says, right here, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him. He says you gotta beat this out of everybody. Anyone that trusts in their own heart, you beat it out of them. This is a king talking. And this is the only way a king has power. Who the hell would follow a king if they had their own true self speaking from their heart? So they have to destroy that first. And basically, that's the base of their civilization. We destroy that first. Now, so what happened with this king that advocated beating children? Well, what happened to his, if you read a book called Alice Miller for Your Own Good, she'll say that people who write about how to treat children usually are treated the same way, and they'll treat their children the same way as they say you should treat them. So I assume that any children that Solomon had, he would treat this way. Beat them, trust out of them, you know. Let's see what happened to him. Well, his oldest one, Rehoboam, when Solomon died, became king. And what happened then? Well, the people came to Rehoboam and they said to him, your father was a cruel and cruel king, and he laid a grievous yoke on us. All you have to do, Rehoboam, is lessen that yoke just a little bit, and we'll gladly serve you, and you'll have no trouble whatsoever. But what happened when you beat the trust out of a soul of a child? You really mess them up. So what did Rehoboam say to this very reasonable offer? He said this: my father laid a grievous yoke on you. I will lay a more grievous yoke on you. My father chastised you with whips. I will chastise you with scorpions. Well, the people in those days were a little bit different than people in these days. They didn't take that sort of abuse sitting down. They killed Rehoboam's embassy, and they went after him. He had to flee for his life. And 10 of the 12 tribes of Israel revolted. And that is the result of what happens when you beat the self-trust out of the soul of a child. The next generation gets worse than the first, and worse and worse. And then you have a thing like civilization that begins to destroy its own environment. Always saying good things about itself, but it's basically the fruit of the tree is self-destruction. We got this other guy. And what he says is stuff like this: I say to you, lest you be converted and become like a little child, you should not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whoa! You gotta become like a child, eh? Then he says, whoever shall offend one of these little ones, it would be better for him that a millstone hanged around his neck and he drowned to the bottom of the sea. Whoa! We don't harm these kids. Huh? We got the king saying we should beat them. We got the Naz saying we should be real good to them. And why should we be good to them? Because I thank thee, O Heavenly Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent and revealed them unto babes. He's saying that the youngest child is closer to what? The kingdom of heaven and God than the priests and the popes and stuff like that. So, how come God is all so mixed up? How come no one's heard about this? Well, pretty easy. There are authorities, human authorities, telling us what is in the Bible and telling us nothing else. Well, they will also tell you that every word of the Bible is true. It's written by lots of different people, different ideas. It's true for each one of them, but altogether, there are contradictions. And here's the biggest one.